Hello and welcome to part 12 of the Smart Mobility Revolution. My name is Kevin Borras, joined as ever by Bob McQueen, one of the three co-authors of a new body of knowledge called the Smart Mobility Revolution. This is a book and an audio and video content, educational content, will be published towards the end of the year. We'll talk to you about that hopefully in episode 13. But we're looking at performance today. So it's a 16 chapters or 16 sections of the book. This is part 12. We're looking at performance. So it's how to measure performance in terms of smart mobility implementation. Now, as far as I'm concerned, there are two ways of measuring performance in terms of implementing smart city or any technology or any scheme that involves the public using stuff. So can you tell the viewers and listeners what those two measures are and how it applies to smart mobility?
Sure. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, the two we're talking about are formative and summative, and my dear friend Kan Chen, who unfortunately is no longer with us, introduced me to these two terms, which I think are very concise ways to sum it up.
Yeah.
Formative means on the go. It means you're going to get a stream of feedback information on your performance in enough time to be able to do something about it. So I'll think of it in terms of information for course corrections, for course changes. And in project management, that's very important because you don't want to end up with a traumatic distance between where you wanted to be and where you are. You want to try and nip it in the bud and do a little bit at a time. Summative, equally important. I think of SANDAG with their State of the Commute report, San Diego Association of Governments. At the end of every year, they say, this is what we spent your money on, and this is what we did, this is what we achieved, and then here's the plan for next year. So I think both things are very important. But both things require, quite a lot of skill in being able to, well, actually, I take it back. You need to be bold. You need to say up front, this is what I'm going to achieve. You know, I think anybody can declare success at the end of the project when they haven't stated any terms of success. So you got to be bold and say, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to reduce crashes, save lives, save money. We're trying to save time with efficiency gains. We're trying to reduce emissions and fuel consumption. We're trying to make the user experience better, or we're trying to protect the climate. You know, those are the big themes, and get on and define your performance measures below that. And, you know, I think it was Demings who said, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Bob McQueen's adaptation on that is that if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And if you're only measuring it, you're still not managing it.
Yep.
So performance is about performance management, not just performance measurement. A lot of people are very good at performance measurement, but you've got to take the data, turn it into information, and do something with it. That's performance management.
I suppose what we're trying to avoid in the smart mobility sense is, let's imagine a cross-border tunnel under a channel of some description between two countries, and then you discover that the tunnels don't quite match. They're like a few feet out. It's not a huge amount of distance, but that's a massive issue. So formative performance measuring, that doesn't happen.
Well, you know, there's the story about the two contractors who showed up to bid on the Channel Tunnel, Kevin, and they asked them that very question, you know, how are you going to plan to do it? And they said, well, you know, Kevin's going to start from Dover and dig towards Cali. Bob's going to start from Cali and dig towards Dover, and we meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Somebody said, well, what happens if you don't meet in the middle? And they said, well, you get two tunnels for the price of one.
Yes, that actually was the project I was referring to. I didn't want to bring in who it was just in case they were watching and we get sued. That one, I mean, it was slightly out, wasn't it? That was right. The original.
But there's a classic example of not really stating your objectives up front. Oh yeah, we meant to dig two tunnels. There wasn't an error. No, we have to define objectives up front and not be afraid if we don't hit objectives, if we miss them for some reason. I think of a lot of projects for performance management in terms of the shop window and the under the hood. The shop window is all the nice glossy things that get published, the great things that happened. The under the hood view is what really went on. And in the body of knowledge, we're going to focus on the under the hood side.
Yes, so it's kind of like, if you're familiar with the Haynes manual of car maintenance, it's if you aren't familiar with the Haynes manual, it's a British book which looks in incredible detail at every single car that's ever been produced. It's like they have exploded views of all the all the various thousands and thousands of parts. It's an extraordinary book. If you're not interested in cars, it's still an amazing thing to look at. So are you kind of thinking that the body of knowledge for the smart mobility revolution is kind of like a Haynes manual for smart mobility?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have the ambition to call it a Haynes manual, because, you know, we're not going to take ITS projects apart and rebuild them and
No.
show you the nuts and bolts, but maybe more like a Sears catalog. You know, we'll tell you where everything is. And then we really think that there's some barriers to be broken down in terms of information sharing between projects.
Yeah.
You know, I've been studying project evaluation, life cycle cost analysis for the body of knowledge. And the big problem is that there's no framework for common evaluation. We're measuring apples and oranges. So things like that have to be addressed as part of this. And, you know, we need to lay down good practice. So we'll be laying down good practice. We'll be laying down frameworks. Mm-hmm. We won't be giving you recipes. We won't be here, mix these things together and you're guaranteed success. No, we'll give you models. Follow this model, adapt it to your city and your region, and the probability of success will increase dramatically.
You've sold the book, I think, basically.
Yep.
That's basically the
crux
of the whole project is that it's how to make your city smart. It's a how-to guide, isn't it? It's simple as that. You will read the body of knowledge, watch the videos, listen to the audio stuff, look at the educational things, read the book, and you'll basically your job is done. You're doing your job for them.
And of course, Kevin, if we had planned for success for this video, we would have had copies of the books available for sale right after this.
This would have been true, yes, but that's not our fault. We aren't doing the publishing. The publishing will be done. We can talk about that very soon, hopefully. But Wheels Are in Motion news will be good and forthcoming very shortly. So, Bob, thanks for your time once again. Join us very shortly for parts 13, 14, 15, and hopefully, we think, part 16 may be the final part of this video series. We don't know. We could continue. We haven't actually planned for that, because this is the point, isn't it? That we're looking at performance measuring. We're measuring our own performance. There could be more chapters to come. Well,
there also could be more video sessions to come, Kevin, because what's going on in the background here is the team of content editors and content providers, subject master experts are meeting regularly. We're having video sessions like this, and new concepts are popping up to be included in the body of knowledge. We're talking about the body of knowledge being more than a book, being also capturing the topical stuff. There's no reason why we can't capture the topical stuff in subsequent videos. Indeed. Well, this could run and run, couldn't it? Excellent. We could have a long-running series. The DVD will be available, and we'll do T-shirts and mugs and beer mats as well. There we go. Excellent. Merchandise store will be forthcoming. Bob, thanks for your time as ever. Thank you for watching, and you'll join us again soon. Thanks.